Hello everyone, this is Group 18 and today we'll be presenting our final database assignment. So my group and I actually decided to choose the third scenario where it is talking about Sunny legal firm, handling major violent crimes consisting of murder, rape, kidnapping, armed robbery, carjacking, and so on. Next, we'll be talking about the enhanced case scenario. So in Sunny legal firm, all judges are recorded for the company's reference. This is so the company can keep track of which judge is tied to each court. Each judge is given a unique judge ID. The judge's name, address, and the number of years practice are also recorded. Each judge is assigned to a court at a time, but a court can have many judges. Hence, the judge table is created. Now, we feel that the reason we actually made the judge table is because we feel it's very essential, even in reality, where having a track or a track record of like the judge's details, such as the number of years practiced and the name and the address, is important to have. Moving on, we'll be talking about the case table. Okay, this firm keeps track of each case in detail for general reference. Hence, a case table is created. In this case table, it includes the case ID, which is the primary key, the client ID, the trial number, lawyer ID, and court ID to show the register information about the whole case. This case table is to showcase which case is tied to which client and lawyer, which court it is being held at, and the trial number. Essentially, this case table is created for general reference. And next, we'll be talking about the business rules based on the enhanced scenario. So each judge is assigned to a court at a time. A court can have many judges. A lawyer may have multiple cases. A client can only have one case at a time. A court can hold many cases. Each case is assigned to only one court. Now, the first business rule, which is each judge is assigned to a court at a time, is a one-to-one relationship. A court can have many judges. This is one to many. This makes sense to all of us. Any court can have many judges. Like one court will hold many judges. Makes sense. A lawyer may handle multiple cases. It's also a one-to-many relationship. This also, we figured that it made sense because in the real world, a lawyer does handle multiple cases at a time. Meanwhile, a client usually only has one case at a time, which is a one-to-one relationship. A court can hold many cases, one-to-many, and each case is assigned to only one court, which is a one-to-one relationship. That's all for my part, and next I'll be passing it on to my group mate. Thank you.
I am the second speaker and I am going to talk about part 3, which is the creation of script and the inserting of data into tables. So this is the script that we wrote, and it starts with clear screen, and it is used to clear the SQL application window. Auto session is used to set and modify the date to the format. So firstly, we drop all the tables created so that there are no duplicates. Then we created a lawyer table with 7 attributes with lawyer ID as the primary key, and each attribute will have a specific data type. We have also applied a constraint to the field expertise attribute so that all the data in its column will fall between the categories in the bracket. Secondly, we created a clients table with 5 attributes and with client number as the primary key. For the attribute lawyer ID, we have applied a constraint to make it a foreign key that is referenced in the lawyer table. Next is judge table with 4 different attributes, and judge ID being assigned as the primary key. Court table with 4 attributes and court ID as the primary key. We have also applied a constraint to the court class attribute so that all the data in its column will fall between the categories in the bracket. And for judge ID, we have applied a constraint to make it a foreign key that is referenced in the judge table. Trial table with 5 different attributes and trial number as the primary key. We have also applied a constraint to the check status of trial attribute so that all the data in its column will fall between the categories in the bracket. For attribute client number and court ID, we have applied a constraint to make it a foreign key that is referenced in the clients and court table. Code of law table with 4 different attributes and code of law ID as the primary key. For attributes client number, trial number, lawyer ID, and court ID, we have applied a constraint to make it a foreign key that is referenced in the client's trial, lawyer, and court table. Also, we've applied a constraint to the court class attribute so that all the data in its column will fall between the categories in the bracket. And as you can see here, we use the insert into function. The insert into function is to add data into the tables that we have created. And now I'm going to run the script. So as you can see here, there are only a few errors, but most of it is very successful. Only the drop table part has an error because the tables has not been created yet to be dropped. And now we will look at the data. So this is the data for cases table, clients table, code of law table, court table, judge table, lawyer table, and trial table. And now I'll be passing it on to the third speaker.
Hello everyone, I'm Ashwin. I'm going to be talking about part 3. The main point of part 3 is to prove using queries that our tables are linked together properly and the inserted data is functioning as usual. So the first question we created was to display the records of clients with the address from Kuala Lumpur or Putrajaya along with the lawyer name starting with D and to sort the records in ascending order. So as you can see, this is the SQL we created and I'm going to run the code here. So as you can see, the records are sorted in ascending order. The client's address is in Kuala Lumpur or Putrajaya and the lawyer's name starts with D. This is the second question where we have to list the lawyer name and lawyer ID whose cases won are more than 30 and less than 100, in which they have dealt with cases tied to Court Class A. Court Class A deals with murder cases. So as you can see, this is the SQL we created. And these are the records that are shown. So these lawyers have cases won which are between 30 and 100 and they are under Court Class A. This is our third question. For the third question, we are required to create a SQL where for each case, list the case ID, client name, lawyer ID, trial number, and the date of trial, which is in September, and to make sure that the initial letters of client name and lawyer name are capitalized. So here is the SQL that we created, and as you can see, we use functions such as initCap and toChar. And once I run this code, we should be given records where, as you can see, the lawyer name and client name are initialized in capital letter for the first letter, and also the date of trial is in September. For the fourth question, we decided to create a question asking to list the judge name, judge ID of each judge together with one of the following text values as appropriate, experienced or inexperienced. If the judge has more than 20 years of experience, they are experienced, else they are inexperienced. Sort by judge ID. So this is the SQL we created, and as you can see, we made use of a function like union. When we run this code, we are given records of these judges, and it proves which judges are inexperienced and which judges are experienced. Our fifth question is asking us to use AutoJoin to produce a report for records that displays all the court activity in trials, sorted by court ID. So as you can see, this is the SQL we created and we made use of left AutoJoin. Now when I run this code, we should be given records of all the courts which have all the trials. So as you can see, all these trials are linked to this court. However, for Court 5, there has been no trial, but it has still been produced because we have used left outer join. In our sixth and final question, we have created a question to display the lawyer ID, lawyer name, field expertise, maximum case won, and minimum case won. The field expertise must fall under murder or attempted murder. And we have to order by lawyer ID and make sure that lawyer name is capitalized. So this is the SQL we created, and as you can see, we made use of group by and union. So when we run this code, we will be able to see the minimum and maximum cases won by the appropriate lawyer. That's all for our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed.